Hello, friends. Recently, India successfully test-fired its nuclear-capable Agni-Prime intermediate-range ballistic missile from a rail-based mobile launcher. Yes, you are absolutely right. A nuclear ballistic missile was launched from a train. You may not know, but there are a few other countries in the world that also possess this capability. Until now, only 4 countries in the world had this technology and capability. They had already demonstrated to the world that a missile can be launched from a train. Those 4 countries were Russia, the USA, China, and North Korea. Don't be surprised the 4th one is North Korea. Furthermore, North Korea even released a video showing a train-based test of a nuclear-capable long-range ballistic missile, which you can see on screen. Now, India has also successfully conducted the same test. India has become the 5th country in the world with this capability. A rail-launched missile capability means launches no longer need to originate from fixed silos or pre-known launchers that an adversary can track and prepare defenses against. With missiles deployable from railway platforms, a launch could occur from anywhere along an extensive rail network connecting multiple regions, making it harder for an opponent to anticipate the point of origin. This vulnerability-altering capability therefore affects deterrence calculations and complicates an adversary's missile defense planning, regardless of which countries are involved. These days, advanced technology dominates modern warfare. Satellites constantly monitor airbases and ground-based missile launch sites, so when a fighter jet takes off from an airbase, an adversary can often detect it immediately and ready their defenses. Likewise, a missile launch from a fixed pad is visible to satellites, and even mobile launchers can be tracked. Railway networks form a vast web across many large countries. For example, the Indian railway network covers huge areas with very large numbers of tracks and trains, making it practically impossible to track every single train from space. If a missile were loaded onto any train and launched from an unexpected location, it would deliver a major shock to an opponent. This is similar to submarine-launched missiles, where the launch platform's unknown position at sea makes detection difficult and can also produce tactical surprise. With thousands of trains running simultaneously, a missile fired from just one of them would be extremely hard for an adversary to anticipate. This is a huge accomplishment for India. Rail-based mobile launcher systems exist in very few countries, and now India has that capability too. From a distance, the train would look like a normal train. Satellites or other surveillance methods would not easily distinguish it from ordinary rail traffic, even if a missile is deployed on board. Agni-Prime, or Agni-P, is part of India's next-generation missile program designed to strike targets at ranges up to 2,000 kilometers. It incorporates advanced guidance, warhead, and communication features, and is engineered to be lighter and more accurate than its predecessors. The latest trial was distinguished by its use of a specially designed rail-based mobile launcher system, the first such launch in India's missile development history. Although the Agni-Prime is a medium-range ballistic missile, North Korea's train launch test involved a short-range ballistic missile called the KN-23 SRBM, which has a range of about 600 kilometers and is inspired by the Russian Iskander-M design. By contrast, Russia and China have tested train-launched intercontinental-range ballistic missile concepts. China tested the DF-41 in a rail-mobile configuration, a missile with an estimated range of up to about 12,000 kilometers. The Soviet Union tested the RT-23 Molodets, a rail-launched ICBM with an approximate range of 10,000 kilometers. That system has since been retired. The United States planned a rail-based deployment for the LGM-118A, Peacekeeper under the Peacekeeper Rail Garrison concept, which would have had a range of roughly 11,000 kilometers, but that program never conducted an actual train launch flight test and was canceled. In short, the U.S. carried out design work and ground tests for a rail system, but unlike North Korea, Russia, and China, it never performed a live missile launch from a train. Military analysts note that rail-launched missile systems present both advantages and disadvantages. On the plus side, the absence of fixed launch sites makes it harder for an adversary to locate missiles, since rail-mounted units can change position frequently, reducing the effectiveness of satellite surveillance and other intelligence collection. Rail launchers can also offer rapid launch readiness and require relatively low manpower for deployment. On the downside, rail-based systems carry significant safety and security risks. Accidents such as derailments could have severe consequences if a train is carrying a high-yield warhead. In countries with a history of rail sabotage or vulnerable infrastructure, the risk of deliberate interference is a particular concern. For these reasons, many analysts argue that rail-launched missiles should be operated only on highly secure, limited routes or with robust safeguards that can quickly detect and respond to sabotage or other threats. And in my view, the biggest disadvantage is this. If you fire a missile from a train against an opponent, that opponent may begin to damage or even destroy your railway infrastructure. They might start targeting trains, which would cause civilian casualties. Some will argue that railways are civilian infrastructure and that attacking them is a war crime. However, if missiles are launched from trains, opponents could claim there's no justification for refraining from striking those rail assets. The induction of rail-based mobile missile launchers enhances survivability, a core tenet of credible nuclear deterrence. Fixed missile silos, while hardened, are potentially vulnerable to enemy first strikes. Mobile systems, whether road or rail-launched, offer flexibility, allowing for unpredictable movement of launchers, thereby complicating targeting by any adversary and ensuring the ability to retaliate. In India's case, integrating rail-based mobile launchers with the Agni-P system fits into the nation's doctrine of assured retaliation to maintain an effective second strike capability. India uses both road and rail launchers to distribute its nuclear weapons across the country. This strategy minimizes their attack risk and creates uncertainty for anyone considering launching a surprise strike. Rail-based missile launchers could improve India's military readiness as tensions increase in Asia, showing the country's goal is to keep a reliable nuclear deterrent against potential threats. That's all for today's update. Please subscribe and like this video.